What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Wednesday, December 8th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 13-game slate tonight, so let's take a look at the point guard position. I like Desmond Bane from the Memphis Grizzlies playing the Dallas Mavericks, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the fourth most fantasy points to opposing point guards. Desmond Bane has averaged 27.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 29 minutes per game with a 22% usage rate. Now, he's been on fire the past couple of games, scoring 41 and 48 fantasy points, playing 31 and 33 minutes. So I think he can score 35 fantasy points or more in this one, get you 5 times value or more. He's $6,500 DraftKings salary, and he's $700 less on FanDuel. So I love that FanDuel price. Vegas thinks there's going to be 215.5 points scored in this game. So I like Desmond Bane here versus the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. I like Tyrese Halliburton from the Sacramento Kings playing the Orlando Magic, who have the second worst defense overall. They're middle of the pack defending opposing shooting guards, and Tyrese Halliburton has averaged 29.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 17% usage rate. He's projected at 30.7 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's $6,000 DraftKings salary, $200 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 220 points scored in this game, and Tyrese Halliburton has scored 39, 32, and 24 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 37, 40, and 32 minutes. So I like Tyrese Halliburton here versus the Orlando Magic. Okay, let's take a look at the small forward position. I like Franz Wagner from the Orlando Magic playing the Sacramento Kings, who have the 4th worst defense overall. They give up the second most fantasy points to opposing small forwards, and Franz Wagner has averaged 26.6 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 19% usage rate. He's projected at 27.7 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.8 times value, but I think he can score 30 fantasy points or more in this one and get you 5 times value or more. He's $5,800 DraftKings salary, $600 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 220 points scored in this game, and Franz Wagner has scored 35, 35, and 33 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 30, 33, and 32 minutes. So I like Franz Wagner here versus the Sacramento Kings. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won, and we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. And just real quick, a couple other small forwards slash power forwards that I like on this slate. Both are $5,700 DraftKings salary. I like Lauri Markkanen and Kyle Kuzma. Okay, let's take a look at the power forward position. I like Tobias Harris from the Philadelphia 76ers playing the Charlotte Hornets, who have the absolute worst defense overall. They give up the third most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. Tobias Harris has averaged 37.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 26% usage rate. He's projected at 39.7 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.2 times value. He's $7,600 DraftKings salary, the same price on FanDuel, and he scored 49 fantasy points in his last game, played 40 minutes. He is struggling with a non-COVID illness, but he is expected to take the court, and he did play last game. So I like Tobias Harris here versus the Charlotte Hornets. Okay, while we're here, why don't we go over this Lauri Markkanen pick? So I like Lauri Markkanen from the Cleveland Cavaliers playing the Chicago Bulls, who have a good defense overall. They give up the second most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. Lauri Markkanen has averaged 27.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. He's projected at 28.4 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5 times value. He's $5,700 DraftKings salary and $400 less on FanDuel. So I like that price on both sites, but I love that FanDuel price. And Vegas thinks there's going to be 210 points scored in this game. And Lauri Markkanen has averaged 36, 16, and 28. He scored 36, 16, and 28 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 34, 34, and 36 minutes. So he's playing a ton of minutes. Now he's facing his old team in the Chicago Bulls, so a little revenge game narrative, and it's a fantastic matchup. So I like Lauri Markkanen here versus the Chicago Bulls. Okay, and let's go over Kyle Kuzma. So I like Kyle Kuzma from the Washington Wizards playing the Detroit Pistons, who have the 8th worst defense overall. They give up the 8th most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. Kyle Kuzma has averaged 30.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. He's projected at 30.3 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.3 times value. He's $5,700 DraftKings salary, 100 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 208.5 points scored in this game. And Kyle Kuzma has scored 27, 28, and 22 fantasy points in his last 3 games, playing 38, 30, and 23 minutes. So he's been underperforming his season average, but he's playing plenty of minutes, and I think he does hit or exceed his season average here tonight, which will get you over 5 times value. So I like Kyle Kuzma here versus the Detroit Pistons. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, moving on to the center position, I'm going to give you a stud pick here. I like Joel Embiid from the Philadelphia 76ers playing the Charlotte Hornets, who have the worst defense overall. They give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing centers. Joel Embiid has averaged 49.6 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 33% usage rate. He's projected at 52.6 fantasy points here tonight, but I think he can score 60 fantasy points or more and get you 5 times value or more. He's $11,700 DraftKings salary, but he is $1,300 less on FanDuel, so I like that FanDuel price. Vegas thinks there's going to be 218 points scored in this game, and Joel Embiid has scored 75, 56, and 57 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 40, 36, and 33 minutes. And I also like this pick because he scored 75 and 58 fantasy points in his last 2 games versus the Hornets. Now, he is expensive on DraftKings, so I think I might lean towards playing him on FanDuel. So I like Joel Embiid here versus the Charlotte Hornets. Okay, so let's give you a value play at the center position. Take a look at Steven Adams from the Memphis Grizzlies playing the Dallas Mavericks, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the second most fantasy points to opposing centers. Steven Adams has averaged 24.5 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 25 minutes per game with a 13% usage rate. He's projected at 25 fantasy points here tonight, and that's 5.1 times value. He's only $4,900 DraftKings salary, $700 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 215.5 points scored in this game, and Steven Adams has scored 45, 34, and 24 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 31, 27, and 21 minutes. So his minutes and his production have been going up each game for the past 3 games. Steven Adams is a guy who's got some big upside, but he really hadn't shown it up until recently, and his salary is still low. So I think this is a good spot to buy low. So I like Steven Adams here versus the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, how about one more value play at the center position? I like Willy Hernan from the New Orleans Pelicans playing the Denver Nuggets, who have a good defense overall. They've been good versus opposing centers. Willy Hernan has averaged 23.2 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 15 minutes per game with a 23% usage rate. He's projected at 24.6 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.6 times value. He's $4,400 DraftKings salary, $600 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 215 points scored in this game, and Willy Hernan has scored 35, 38, and 13 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 15, 22, and 12 minutes. So the minutes that he plays is a bit concerning, but he is putting up 1.58 fantasy points per minute. Makes you wonder why he's not playing more minutes. But if he can get 20 minutes here, that's a potential of 30 plus fantasy points at only $4,400 DraftKings salary. So I like Willy Hernan here versus the Denver Nuggets.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.